What the most uncomfortable question you can ask someone? For extra cringe, ask this in a loud voice as you crash an ongoing party that you were not invited to. Bonus points if you start hyperventilate crying. You set off a memory of being 14-15 and discovering my friends had a sleepover and they hadn't invited me. I was crushed. They did say it was because they thought my mum would and let me go, which would have been true, but my poor teenage brain went straight to "EA loser, no one wants you" mode. Bruh, I gotta, what are you doing here? From two guests at a party that was at my own house. Granted I didn't throw the party, but it def sucks seeing two friends from class show up at your sister's party, not realizing it's your house and them being surprised and irritated that I was there. Yep, I did this at age 20. My mother had a full-blown wedding. I lived with her at the time. Everyone knew she was getting married except me, the one person who did everything for her aside from my stepdad. I literally paid more than half the bills to that house when I lived with her. My 5 other siblings knew. Even the dog knew. He was in a fucking suit. I literally came out of my bedroom in my work uniform and saw my mother leaving in a wedding dress, and a ton of family members all dressed in formal attire. Her excuse was because you always working. If you are good friends, they will tell you they pregnant when they are ready. If you not good friends, you should never ask. Really, the potential to hurt someone is way bigger than the benefit, which is usually just making conversation. This goes double for the workplace. There's a girl that goes to my gym. We interact a bit. I noticed that she looked pregnant but was too scared to ask, but it seemed not nice to inquire. I finally got up the courage to ask and she laughed and said yes. She laughed even more when she saw the relief on my face. Lol, this gives me some flashbacks. After work on a Friday I was saying goodbye to one of my friends and I gave her a hug. Here comes Brett. Hey, where's my hug? So I give him the biggest bear hug, the kind that traps their arms at their sides, and picked him up off the ground. There's your hug, Brett. My friend said he didn't ask much after that, but you bet your balls I'd tell Brett. Hey Brett, I got your hug right here buddy, with outstretched arms. He would give me an uncomfortable look like you gross. Yeah Brett, that's how you are making everyone feel. I hate this one so much. I lived in a small town so everybody knew everybody. High school was rough. I didn't know how to stick up for myself and soon became the scapegoat for bullies and rumors. Once our SR year hit, people matured a little and started being nicer to me. I made a lot of friends suddenly and all of them would ask, "Why does everybody hate you? You're not like they say." It was awkward because most of those people were the ones contributing to the rumors bullying. I'm not sure if it counts, but if someone asks you, "Hey, can you move over a seat so I can be next to my friend?" especially if you thought the person asking you was your friend. Okay, I have this issue. Friends always post pictures on Instagram at football games, parties, etc. so I know they take pictures, but whenever I'm with them no one ever offers to take pictures with me, and so I feel like I have to force people to begrudgingly take pictures with me, and usually I suggest we get a picture and people act like they forget. If you come in the back office with me right now, just you and me, are you gonna be cool about it, or be a snitch? Asked by my old boss at a grocery store. He just was offering me shots of Fireball because it was almost closing time on New Year's Eve. But that phrasing. This is a conversation I had to have with a coworker once. His smell was very distracting for everyone in the office. Guy's wife had died and he just sort of stopped taking care of himself afterward. A couple of us got him set up with a therapist. He left the company shortly after for a less stressful job, but I saw on FB a while later the guy is doing much better. I saw an old high school acquaintance at a club once. She had always been super skinny in HS, but this night she had a very pronounced belly. I assumed since she had always been skinny and only had grown in her belly that she was pregnant. She was not. Editing this after my BF insisted that I tell the whole story. I can't remember exactly how I asked her, but she replied in a half laugh that she wasn't pregnant. Me, thinking she was joking, replied, "Oh, just a big lunch then?" while patting her stomach. Then I laughed and walked away. My cousin later told me what I had done and informed me that she had a 1-year-old and hadn't lost her baby weight. I will never do that again. As a male, I operate under a policy that the only time that you can ask a woman if she's pregnant is if she is in active labor and the baby is crowning. And even then you must exclaim surprise that you had no idea. If it not in a professional setting, my go-to is I have 3 nipples. Depending on their response, it either a great conversation starter to break the ice, or we would and get along well anyway. I have a problem where whenever anyone asks me my favorite book, movie, band, etc., I cannot think of a single thing I ever seen or heard. Same goes for if, and it would be a rare occasion anyway, I was to do karaoke. I had to save a list of songs that I actually know in my phone notes, so I don't just flip through the songbook in increasing anxiety. On a scale of 1 to 10, how pretty do you think you are? It bad, because if you give yourself a high score they'll assume that you egotistical, and if you give yourself a low score they'll either assume that you insecure or that you fishing for compliments. Well, apparently it's taboo to talk about how much money you make or anything about your financial situation unless you really rich, so that seems to make people pretty uncomfortable, in the US at least. I hate when they don't give a reason. And I learned the hard way. My roommate sent me that call me text while I was at work. Usually, it meant he got good weed, so I just ignored it. Came home at 2 a.m. to find my dog wrapped in bandages with a cone on his neck. Ugh. I had this asked to me when I visited Wisconsin for a wedding. I am Asian, and when I said I'm from California they asked me that exact question. I just stared at them without responding, shook my head, and walked away. Not like I'm going to see that random airport stranger again.